I climbed aboard my chosen vehicle and sped away from the storage area onto the main street. By then the road was littered with bodies and several cart wreckages. It was all I could do to avoid them. The way to Ponyville was much farther than I thought, and had to avoid some of the infected walking around. Everywhere I looked I could see only scenes of carnage. It seems those not already infected were fighting and losing a battle. My thoughts quickly turned to my friends and Spike. I tried to tell myself that they would be okay, but that didn't stop the horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. I knew I had to get home as soon as possible. I continued down the road before taking a turn towards the main road leading to Ponyville. Ever since the technology age came to Equestria, the roads going in and out of Ponyville and Canada have been changed. Several buildings have been set up, and was literally changing our landscape. It wasn't long before I noticed a mass of cars and carriages blocking the road ahead. The combined sound of all the honking, shouting, and screaming was deafening. No pony had kept their lanes, and cars were so packed, so closely together, that not even a scooter can squeeze through. The blockage extended so far down the road that it was literally impossible to discern what the cause was. I decided that there was no point to wait for the traffic to clear, and that without the tank driving off-road it was just too dangerous. I headed back the way it came and turned off the road at the first turn. I soon found a safer, albeit less direct route home. As I sped down the disturbing quiet back road, my mind began to wander. Without the distraction of the immediate danger, I began to remember the horrific scenes I had just witnessed an hour ago. Images of mangled corpses flashed before my eyes and my head began to spin. I aimlessly drove my vehicle ahead and not noticing a car pull down on a concealed turn. I tried to stop in time but it was too late to avoid a collision. Amazingly, I wasn't seriously injured, but my bike was badly damaged. I realized that without my vehicle, I would have to walk the rest of my way home, not wanting to waste any more precious time and continue my journey on hoof. After an hour of walking, I began to recognize my surroundings, and I knew I would soon be home. There were several different routes I could take. First, along the main road, then towards the train line. Or I could take a shortcut to the cornfield, or to the other orchards. I decided to get off the main road, as it will undoubtedly be dangerous as it such a heavily populated area. Taking a shortcut or going to the orchard posed a dangerous risk. I decided to follow the train line instead, since it was not far away from my library and it was totally deserted. Sure enough, I didn't see another soul. I finally arrived at Ponyville, exhausted. I knew that my house was just a little further down the street, but the area was swarming with the infected. Most of them were distracted by what few survivors remained, but I knew it was just a matter of time before they noticed me. I quickly looked around, looking for any familiar faces among the infected from afar, one by one. I quickly each and every one of them, but none of my friends were among them. It gave me a bit of a sigh of relief, knowing that they may actually be safe for the time being. I made my way towards the back end of the houses, trying to be stealthy as possible, avoiding any contact with the infected. However, as I passed a large tree, an infected old stallion stepped out of the shadows and tried to grab me. I turned and quickly gave him a buck to the face and throwing him backwards, narrowly escaping being banned. I had brought myself valuable time, but it wouldn't take long before the creature gained its balance and come at me again. Just then I heard a roar behind me. A group of infected had followed behind, trapping me in the center. Without a second thought, I teleported safely towards the other side of the high wall behind the restaurant I had previously in and escaped the affected with only mere seconds to spare. Some of them are Pegasus that can literally fly and just pounce on me. It seems that they couldn't. It was absolutely lucky for me that they were not able to fly. I ran further down the back way and back to the trees. When I looked over my shoulder, there were no signs of my pursuers. I could see my house now, just 100 feet or so away, My heart sank when I saw another group of infected wandering aimlessly between me and my goal. I decided that it was too dangerous to carry on down the street. I went around the back of one of the neighbors' houses and over the fence into their garden. It was tiring, but I carried over, scrambling over the fences until I got to my own backyard. I approached my lair, but as soon as I went for the back door, I noticed that it was slightly ajar and that the windows were all broken. I feared for my assistant's safety. I realized what whoever had broken into my library could still be there. With my horn on ready, I went for the back door. Before I could enter, I discovered why the back door had been left ajar. A teenage looter emerged from the house carrying my small coin box, where I was keeping my savings for the entire year, obviously intent on profiting from the crisis. When he saw me, he dropped my box and pulled out an equestrian sword. At that moment, I couldn't tell which one of us were more afraid. I told the looter that I wasn't going to hurt him, that he could have my box and leave. He didn't bother picking my box back up. Instead, he ran over the nearby fence and climbed over to the neighbor's garden. Having dealt with the looter, I picked up my box and took the money in it. I didn't know why, but the thought inside me told me that I might need it. I walked in through the back door. I was relieved to be finally safe indoors, but I couldn't rest yet, not until I was certain that my assistant's bike was okay. I quickly shut the back door and locked it, then looked around for some furniture and wedged in front of it. It took me a few minutes to properly secure the entrance, but at least I knew nobody would be able to force their way in. I began searching the ground floor for Spike. As I came to the living room, I saw that Derpy from next door standing there. She had her back to me and was completely oblivious to my presence. Her coat was covered in red stains. I called out to her to see if she was okay, but she didn't reply. I threw a small object at her, making her turn and face me. My eyes widened as she showed her body, bloodshot eyes, and disfigured face to me. It was then I knew she was infected. Without thinking, I blasted her with a magic blast, making her fall backwards. I took a blunt object and repeatedly bashed her head until I made sure she was dead. It tore my heart, killing one of the ponies I knew, but it had to be done. As I went to go upstairs, I noticed a note had been left for me by the door of my room. I recognized it was Spike's claw writing immediately. The note said that he couldn't wait for me any longer and that he and my friends were gathered up and was going to Appaloosa. As I read the note, my heart sank. I prayed that he and my friends would make it to Appaloosa in one piece. Knowing how hard for me to get here, I couldn't help to wonder if they were still alive. I realized I may never see them again. I began to feel tears rolling down my cheek. I pulled myself together and resolved to keep searching. I needed to be sure that my house was secured before planning my next move. As I climbed down the flight of stairs, I heard a sound coming from the basement. I didn't know if it was my friends, Spike, a looter, or another affected. I slowly opened my door and stepped in, turning on the lights as I go. The scene that greeted me will haunt my nightmares for years to come. My loving friends and my assistant Spike was cornered in the basement with only a male JH holding back 4 infected who was clawing at them. Harry tried to keep the bars apart in order for them not to lose balance and put their hooves near the creatures for binding them. While Applejack ran with us using 2 metal rods, helping Rarity on her defensive act. They could barely keep the creatures at bay, and if I didn't act immediately, they would surely die. Wasting no time, I took 4 sets of metal rods, levitating them, and shot them towards the 4 infected ponies. I was lucky enough not to hit my friends by mistake, but at least they're alive. I was finally reunited with my friends. Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, Rarity, Applejack, Pinkie Pie, and Spike. And the moment I hugged them all, as sad as I could, I was happier than I could ever be, yet feeling would not last long. We all stood and heard banging and scratching from above. I peered up to my basement door and saw infected had found their way into my library. I quickly shut the door and barricaded it, telling my friends to help me block the door up. After an hour, me and friends spent quite some time discussing what to do next. We realized that we couldn't stay in the library forever, as it was too dangerous this close to civilization. We decided our best bet was to leave this place and head to the countrysides, toward Appaloosa. With that said and done, I teleported us back outside, checking the surrounding area if it's clear or not. We dropped by a sugar cube corner and barricaded ourselves in there, but not before checking the place if it was clear of infected. It was already nightfall when we finished the sweep and barricading the place. We decided to spend one last night together in the place before hitting the road. I don't think all of us slept that night, but it was better traveling in the dark. We left at dawn.